Hey guys, so today is a super plain Jane Saturday. My dog is in the background barking, having a fat chat with some other dog. I'm sitting in my bedroom, I'm not wearing makeup. Um, I'm gonna go check on my dog for a second. Okay, clearly his mom did not teach him not to interrupt videos. So it's all good. There was someone outside. So he's doing his job. So anyway, I just wanted to pop in. Like I said, it's plain Jane Saturday. Um, this is how my Saturday is. And I just went out to the shops now and just got back, and a thought popped in my head, and I really wanted to address the topic. So here we go. There are multiple versions of who you are. I am Courtney. I was Courtney, and I will be Courtney. I used to be super shy. So there's that version of Courtney. There's a version of this happy, bubbly, just all-rounder Courtney. There's also a pilot version of Courtney. Yes, I can fly a plane. I know, it's crazy. And then there's also a corporate Courtney and a YouTube Courtney, and lastly, then there's this Courtney. And the reason why I'm going over all these different versions is because the problem is, or one of the problems with society, or perhaps within your close circle, is that people fixate on a version of what they know of you. So in other words, there are people still today that are fixated on the pilot version of Courtney. She's pretty cool, I reckon. If I'm not biased. I'm totally biased, but the problem is with that is that in their minds, I am still that Courtney. I still remember telling people that I stopped flying. I remember very distinctively the facial expressions they pulled. I'm sure they didn't mean to be that obvious with what they thought about my decision, but it is what it is. I don't like that saying, but I just said it now. So what I'm trying to get at is that we shouldn't, throw ourselves under the bus or beat ourselves up because people around us, our loved ones, our friends, our colleagues, our family, strangers, perhaps, maybe not, have an idea of who we are in their minds. Whether that idea is true or not is completely up to them. Everyone has an impression of who you are. I hate to tell you this, but everyone has this idea of who you should be. I'm pretty sure there are people in my life that have an idea of who Courtney is and who I am, and I will be 100% honest, they don't know. No one truly knows who you are unless you let them in, but it has to be a two-way street. You let them in, they need to come in with an open mind and understand that the person they knew back then is not necessarily the same person they're talking to now. For example, so I have this really, really close friend. He is absolutely amazing. And no, I'm not being biased. I think anyone would agree. We were super close in high school, and that's like 7 years ago. I know I'm old. And we were super close. I think out of most people, he understood who I was the most, from a group of friends' point of view, and I'd like to think I understood him. But that's not the point. The point is that he understood who I was the most out of most people back then. And obviously when you finish high school, you do grow distant from a few people, and I think it just happens naturally, unless it's just me. That's a joke. I'm so bad at jokes. Anyway, so yes, the point is that 7 years later, we've started speaking again. So we've always been in and out of each other's lives throughout the 7 years. Whether or not we know each other on an intimate, deep level, in terms of how our brains think, who we are now, our maturity levels, what interests us, I wouldn't say we know that yet, or didn't know that through the 7 years, even though we would catch up every so often. But the point is that 7 years later, I am not the person I used to be. 180 degrees different to who I was. In actual fact, I like this version better. I am in the process of developing and understanding and reevaluating who I am, and I'm starting to build the confidence in who I am and who I need to be, not based off of anyone else's predictions or expectations of who I should be, of who Courtney should be. And so back to the story, my friend and I have made the acceptance that, okay, we used to be very, 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 very close 7 years ago, but that's not who we are now. And so we are now taking the time to relearn and understand what makes us tick, what sets us on fire, what just like sparks our interest, and actually just, it's really great to get to know someone again, someone that was so important to me back then, who's still very much important to me now. It's just refreshing because there's this like mature understanding that who we were back then is not who we are now. And so I really just want to put this out there because I think it's a common mistake that people are making these days. Who you were 10 years, 4 months, 1 month ago is not necessarily who you are now. And if you bump into someone, or perhaps, essentially for this message, I'm specifically referring to people that are close to you, because obviously they're close to you, so they spend time with you, so they know who you are. That's a problem, because they know who you were, but people change, we develop, our interests change, our passions develop, our personality develops. Yes, our characteristics and our traits are permanent, and that's from about 21, if I'm not mistaken. But the development of those characteristics and traits, it happens. It has to take place. We evolve. Something that I used to love back then is not something I necessarily love right now. And that is perfectly okay. And so what I want to get out is that you are allowed to change, you are allowed to evolve, you are allowed to grow and become this big, beautiful person that has just blossomed. And you will continue blossoming, and the people around you need to open their minds and be happy and accept that you are evolving for a better purpose, instead of keeping you boxed up into their perception or expectation of who you were. And so it's really important that you identify that. And that's fine. You shouldn't be too concerned about how other people see you. But it's really important that you don't let those expectations and perceptions stop you or put a pause on your life and development into being the best version of who you are. It's like with every phone software or computer software, it needs updates, it needs upgrades. I mean, my watch upgrades every so often. It's a pain in the butt, but it's necessary. And that's essentially what we go through. We go through upgrades and updates. We learn from what hurt us and what we didn't like, what we did like, and we move into new environments and changes, and it's great, and you evolve. Friends that you used to have back then were perfect for that version of who you were, but may not be perfect for the version of who you are now. And that's okay. We shouldn't be restricted. So I hope you go and think about this and really just evaluate all the different versions you've ever been. It's quite interesting. I can't believe I thought of so many. But I have to say, the version that I like the most is the version that I am right now, because she is finding out who she is. She's reevaluating what's important, what makes her happy, who should be in her life and who shouldn't be in her life. And it's so necessary for me personally to evolve and grow and become the best version of Courtney. It had to be done. Or it has to be done. So I hope that you take time to reevaluate, identify what makes you you and the best version of yourself. And that you have the courage and confidence to be the best version of who you are, regardless of what society, your loved ones, your friends, colleagues, acquaintances have to say. Regardless of any other expectations. It's you. So that's my 2 cents for today. If you would like, please subscribe to this channel and maybe come find me on Instagram. Cheers.